Welcome to Radio 1990. Today, we present a special music video profile and interview with John Cougar Mellencamp.
Yeah, little pink houses for you and me. Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Radio 1990. I'm Catherine Kinley. He was born John Mellencamp, but picked up the stage name Johnny Cougar when he hooked up with David Bowie's then-manager Tony DeFries in 1975. His first few albums didn't make him a star, but in the last 2 years, Indiana's John Cougar Mellencamp has taken off like a rocket, with 2 albums that have produced numerous hits and established him as one of America's most popular rock and rollers. Combining great no-frills songs and expressive videos, Mellencamp's 1982 album, American Fool, went triple platinum and spun off 2 chart-topping singles. His latest record, has proven bigger thanks to the success of Pink Houses and the Authority song.
Jack and Diane was John Cougar Mellencamp's second single from his American Fool album, here on Radio 1990. Stay tuned. Radio 1990's special on John Cougar Mellencamp continues with Lisa Robinson's interview right after this.
Damn good.
Radio 1990 continues now with Lisa Robinson and her interview with John Cougar Mellencamp.
What is the Mellencamp? We know this is your real name, but are you trying to phase Cougar out of it, sort of?
Well, I'd love to, except the record company would absolutely go out of their mind if I tried to phase that out. It's like, it's like Post Toasties changing their name to Toast Posties or something. Whatever, Nabisco would go nuts, right? So Polygram would go nuts if I tried to just go with John Mellencamp. So, but the name John Cougar, I've never really enjoyed it. And you remember that in the beginning it was Johnny Cougar, right?
Yeah, for those who might not know, how did that come about?
Well, I was involved with a guy named Tony DeFries who, in the mid-'70s, early '70s, was like a real high-profile manager-type guy. And he managed Bowie and Iggy Pop and Ian Hunter and Lou Reed and all these people that I really, living in Indiana, were like kind of my heroes of the time because I liked their music. And so by the time I got there, that whole scene was over, and it was like just the dregs of the company left. And they took me under their belt and said, "Oh, make you a star, Johnny," right? And if you don't like this name that's on the album cover, then there won't be a record. And at that time, being from Indiana, I would have signed anything just to have a record deal.
Another hit for John Cougar Mellencamp, Crumbling Down. Radio 1990 continues now with a music video special on John Cougar Mellencamp.
You proud of the Pink Houses?
Oh yeah, I think Pink Houses is the end of my, maybe I should say this now, but next year it'll probably be all different, but is the end of that type of songwriting for me. I think that is the best song I can write about that specific topic. It's kind of in the Jack and Diane vein. Even my first record I ever made had a song called American Dream on it, So I've been writing about it. But I'm fascinated by America and the way we all live and the propaganda that comes to us and the stuff that we believe and the stuff we think is bull. So to me, that's the most, I'm American. We're American. We live here. This is what we do. This is our lives. And that's what I'm trying to understand.
John Cougar Mellencamp's Pink Houses has already become an American classic. Radio 1990 continues now with Lisa Robinson and her interview with John Cougar Mellencamp.
You don't like Authority, do you? You have a song on the album called the Authority song.
Well, I don't. I think that once you quit having some sort of battle to fight, then what fun is it? If everything's handed to you on a platter, what fun is that? I just read an article in some magazine about Onassis's kid, right? I feel sorry for that girl. It's like everything has always been handed on her. Now she weighs 300 and some pounds, and she lives on so much. She owns a bunch of islands, and she's rude to people, and she hates herself. And so I think that as long as you're fighting for something that you think is right, so it's just like this side against that side. I still like my dad can beat up your dad syndrome a little bit, see who wins.
You really come from that kind of a background, too, though, don't you, with that kind of competitive fighting?
My old man used to get us out. There was 3 boys in the family. He used to get us out, and here's boxing gloves, boys, let's go at it. We'd box the old man. He'd always whip us, and I had to box Ted or box my older brother. Or then it'd be like, okay, see the most sit-ups. I'd be at 12 years old doing 170 sit-ups or foot races. The old man liked all that, and he bought the motorcycle so we could race on the motorcycles. My old man is a firm believer that, he is a competitive person. His father was a competitive person, and so therefore all of us guys are competitive. But I'm not nearly as bad as I used to be. You know, I would say I used to make, this is funny. When I was in college, I made money by racing people in foot races. I used to be kind of fast when I was a kid, and I had real long hair, right? Kind of a hippie-looking kid since like 1971. All these jocks would be around, right? And their nice little haircuts and running track. And I used to go out with a guy, and I'd have a cigarette I had in my mouth, and he'd say, "You're pretty." He'd walk up to that jock, and he'd go, "Pretty fast, you know?" Yeah. We'd con him into racing me, right? We'd race, well, $30. That's it. Hippie-looking guy over there. He's pretty fast, too. I bet he can beat you. We'd get a big conflict going with some fraternity. I'd go in and run him for the money. We'd walk away, and we'd have drinking money that night, you know. So that's the kind of stuff we used to do.
John Cougar Mellencamp used his experience as an amateur boxer for this video, The Authority Song.
With so many bands now using synthesizers and fancy studio effects to make records, John Cougar Mellencamp keeps it nice and simple, using words and emotions to convey his feelings. He's a rock and roller whose songs speak to everyone and whose music packs a powerful punch. He's an American classic and a man to keep making hits for a long time to come. Thanks for watching Radio 1990's special video music profile of John Cougar Mellencamp. Tune in tomorrow for our special on the Rolling Stones.
Thanks for watching Radio 1990's special on John Cougar Mellencamp. Tune in to Radio 1990 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the USA Network for the best in fashions, books, movies, home video, the latest music news, and the hottest music videos. For Radio 1990, this is Al Bandero.
Next, Friday and Gannon fight prejudice in the police force on Dragnet. Then at 8 Eastern, law enforcement continues on USA's Crime Busters. It's a great place to stay, USA.